What is up, my YouTube family? So I am
Welcome to the feast. I unleash. I'm a motherfucking
I am all dressed up right now. Got like a full face of makeup on. But I thought that since I have a little bit of time before I leave for girls' night tonight, it's kind of like a going away dinner for Christina. And I wanted to film my YouTube Q&A on the picture from Instagram. So it was this picture. Woo! This picture. And I just said, I think I'm due for a Q&A. Leave me questions below about anything. So fitness, nutrition, about me, whatever. So I actually am very surprised with the amount of questions that I got in 24 hours because it's the day after. So I'm just gonna start from the top. PB and Pull-Ups asked, how old were you when you got into fitness and why? Actually, they asked a lot of questions, so I'll answer them one at a time. I was 16 or 17. And it was because I was a volleyball athlete, and after my volleyball seasons ended in high school, I guess I was 17 then. After senior year high school season of volleyball, I was like, what the hell do I do with all my time? So I started investing more time in the gym. I'd already been lifting a little bit at this point, so I started like getting into the gym and running and being a cardio bunny, and then transitioning into lifting from just being body conscious. So when I started becoming like a little more self-conscious about my weight and eating healthy and fueling my body right, especially for athletics, for volleyball, I did my own research, and I found like bodybuilding.com, and I found people on Instagram, so then that influence kind of pushed me more towards lifting, and that's why I got into lifting. What's your favorite food? Favorite food is probably pizza, definitely pizza. What's really sad is that I'm lactose intolerant now, so every time I have like pizza or a burger with cheese or ice cream, I just get really, really bloated, and it sucks because it takes the fun out of eating like my favorite food, so but it's pizza. And what's your favorite dessert? My favorite dessert is probably just like Toll House baked chocolate chip cookies, or just the dough. Toll House brand cookies are amazing. And who is your motivation? I mean, the best way really to answer this question is that I'm my motivation, and that sounds like conceited and stuck up, but it's really not. It's just that I don't get motivation from Paige Hathaway or Nikki Blackett, or like, I get motivation from seeing myself progress, and like, if anything, seeing other people and like being around all this social media influence honestly like brings me down more than it brings me up. Like, I always see these girls with like tiny waists and big butts and like big capped shoulders, and like I end up subconsciously comparing myself, and when you do that, you're beating yourself down, you're not building yourself up, you're not motivating yourself. So in my opinion, it's best to go off of your own progress, take measurements of yourself, take progress pictures, be your own motivation, find intrinsic motivation, which means coming from within, to push yourself more and to be a better version of yourself. I think that's the best way to get motivated and stick with something. Brooklyn Hill Fit, my girl, asked, what's your favorite muscle group to train? It's definitely going to be glutes and legs. I just absolutely love how intense a leg workout can get because they're the biggest muscles in your body. But for upper body, it's going to be a tie between shoulders and chest. I've had really good shoulder workouts recently. Creds to you, Brooklyn. And one that I actually did today, which was crazy. And I just love chest because I'm actually pretty strong in it, so obviously you like what you're good at, so that's that. Christy Lynn Fit asked, what was the hardest thing for you about prep? And that's an easy answer. Unfortunately, by far the thing that suffered the most was Matt and I's relationship, and it was really hard to get through. We had days where we wouldn't even talk to each other, and we were just on completely different pages for most of the entire prep, and it was just not really fun for both of us. So the next time I do prep, the biggest priority is going to be being attentive to him and making sure that our relationship stays loving and intact and like a healthy relationship during prep, and that'll be in 2018. Cameron_Bond asked, how often do you do cardio a week? Well, I tell myself 2 to 3 sessions a week, with like my goal being 3 sessions, but it always ends up being 2. So I'm gonna go ahead and tell you 2 sessions a week. They are 20 minutes each, usually. Unless I'm doing like really slow walking, then I'll do 30 minutes. But typically I'll do like 20 minutes of stairs or 20 minutes of treadmill sprints. And that is all the cardio I do right now. Jamie Alyssa asked, if you could move one place, where would you go? I mean, honestly, I really like Northern Virginia. I don't really feel like I'd want to move. But if I had to move somewhere else, then I would probably say Houston, Texas. Because I love warm weather, I love humidity, which is weird of me, but I love warm weather year round. I almost went to college in Texas because of the weather. Everyone who lives in Texas ends up just loving it and being super attached to it, so obviously there's something good about it there. So yeah, I would say probably Houston, Texas. BVSS Goddess asked, what's your favorite lift, deadlift, squat, or bench press? I don't know. It's probably not squat, just because squat has never been my strongest. I used to really love deadlifting, but right now the only thing I can do is bench press. I'm gonna have to say deadlift. It's just really empowering to be able to pick a bunch of weight up off the floor, and my deadlift was really coming along right before I injured my back, so hopefully we'll get back to that soon. But I do really love bench pressing. I love dumbbell pressing, I love barbell bench pressing. Like, chest is awesome. I love training chest, and more girls should do it. All right, so next question. I have terrible eye contact with the camera. NMarie09 asked, how do you balance being in college, having a social life, working, and fitness? I tend to neglect having a social life, but I'm a senior in college and don't want to miss out on my last few months with friends before many of us go our separate directions. So that's a really great question, and it all comes down to time management and not spreading yourself too thin. So if going out with your friends and seeing them and spending time with them is a priority, then you need to make it a priority, and that means that something else is most likely going to have to take a back seat, because if you try to balance absolutely everything, something is going to fall through. There's just no other way to say it. Like, people are horrible multitaskers, like humans are horrible multitaskers, and it's just more efficient to focus on a few things that are very important to you rather than trying to spread yourself super thin and not give as much quality to any one thing. But it comes down to time management and just not spreading yourself too thin. It also helps to get your friends into going into the gym, so maybe you can make that a social activity. I know my friend group is mainly gym people now because that's where I've associated myself most of the time. So that's that. Rachel Posey asked, how do you tell the difference between reputable versus non-reputable supplements/supplement companies? Are there any red flags you look for when buying subs? Parentheses, watched your video earlier. Well, thank you for watching my video, and that's a really great question. So most of the time I'm just gonna say that if a company is reputable, then it's gonna have a lot of people supporting it. They're gonna have a lot of followers on Instagram, they're gonna have a lot of content on their website. So if you're sketched out by a brand, I would recommend looking at their website and seeing how much supportive research they have on their products, like if they say why they put certain ingredients into their products, or if they just have a bunch of, one thing that I think is a red flag is something like a proprietary blend, which is just a list of ingredients in a little subcategory where they don't tell you the amounts of the ingredients, and I think that's really annoying because it's kind of like hiding how much of whatever you're putting. And you should also look on like their website or their disclaimers if they're using any products or ingredients that are illegal in certain countries. It may not be illegal in the US, but if it's illegal in another country, then I mean it might be kind of sketchy. For example, something like Class Nutrition, which is a very small brand, a very new brand, it's only a year old. I I did a lot of research on them before I started taking their products, and I talked to the CEO on the phone before I started taking their products because I was honestly pretty sketched out, because I was like, this could be absolute shit in a jar and I could be like intoxicating my body with it. But I made sure to do my research and make sure all the ingredients were legit and that the company was legit. So you can find out something like that just by poking around a lot. You can also email the company. Jay Tortolost asked, what app do you use to buy your Instagram followers? Honestly, if I bought my Instagram followers, I'd probably get myself to at least 50K. Like, why would I get myself to 12.5K? Like, I don't buy my followers, so sorry. Destiny_Couture, have you ever considered competing in a powerlifting meet? Multiple times, yeah. It's definitely been a serious consideration of mine, and I have a lot of powerlifters that go to my gym, a guy who runs an entire powerlifting team that I've talked to, and it has been of recent interest to me, but I mean, it just doesn't, the platform to me is not super motivating, because the whole point of like doing your first meet isn't to win, it's to be your strongest self, and I feel like I can do that without having to get in a singlet and do an entire powerlifting meet. Obviously it'd be cool, but it's just not one of my biggest desires, but it's definitely a possibility if I can get my compounds back in check after my back heals. Ashley_Giselle asked, did you have to ask for permission to shoot at those different gyms? I want to start making fitness videos too, but I'm scared to pull out my camera at the gym. How did you do it? Tips. So that is another great question. My gym actually hates when people film, so I don't bring my camera in export anymore because they're really strict about it. But when I film at 24-Hour Fitness, it's because I know one of the managers there because I've worked at the gym before, and she said it was fine. And at the Golds that I go to, like, I have friends who have filmed there who say like the management is very chill. It really just depends on who the management is at a gym, not necessarily the gym's overall policy, because a lot of times a gym can be against filming, but their staff just won't care. So it depends on that. I would just say ask your gym managers if you can film before, make sure it's okay, and if they say no, then you might have to go visit another gym, buy a day pass to film. And it is really awkward to start. Like, I started filming YouTube videos about a year ago, and I did it on this phone, and I felt so awkward doing it, but you just gotta push past it. Like, if you want to put out content, you're gonna have to, if you want to put out good content, you're gonna have to be with your camera a lot. So just practice, practice, practice. You're gonna get more comfortable the more that you film yourself. So that is my advice for that. If you could only pick one, fats or carbs from K-Fit. I don't have an answer for this. I don't know, probably carbs because I really like rice cakes and rice and potatoes. Yeah, probably carbs. Sweaty BBG asked, what nationality are you? You're adorable. Well, thank you. I'm half Korean and half Caucasian. So my mom is from Korea. She moved here when she was 13, and my dad is from here, from Virginia, and then he grew up in like Massachusetts. Oh, and my dad is mostly French, and we have a lot of different European countries in our heritage. Nuri_A says, should I lower my macros on a rest day? It's really up to you. So I used to never do that, so I would just have the same macros every single day, and it worked fine. You don't gain weight from it, and honestly it's simpler. If you struggle to hit your macros on a regular basis anyways, then I would say just keep it the same throughout the entire week so you don't have to worry about different numbers on different days. But if you hit your macros on a consistent basis every single day to the T, and you're just like bored of hitting your numbers every day, which is why I started calorie cycling, then I did lower my rest day macros by a little bit, and then I raised my leg day macros up higher and calories higher, and then I kept my other training days, my upper body days, in the middle, and so all of those days average out to the same number of calories that I was eating on steady macros for the entire week. So it's really up to you, but just make sure you're not putting yourself in a caloric deficit unless you're dieting, obviously, when you are making those changes. And she also asked, should I eat before I train? What is your meal pre-workout? Definitely eat before you train. There's a lot of people who can train fasted and they enjoy it, but if you feel like you're losing energy really quickly, or if you don't have good workouts because you're not eating before you lift, then I highly recommend eating before you lift. You want to have a moderate source of fast digesting protein before you lift, as well as a higher carb source and moderate to low fat source. So basically just a higher carb meal is what I'm saying is best for a pre-workout, because carbs are going to digest faster and get into your bloodstream to be used as energy much faster. So I would say a higher carb meal before you train. And what I usually have pre-workout, I mean right now on winter break, I have breakfast, which is my cauliflower cream of wheat, peanut butter and berries and coffee and all my vitamins, and then about an hour after that, like right before I train, I'll have 1 or 2 rice cakes with peanut butter on them. So very high carb meal. Alright guys, so that was my Q&A. So thank you guys so much for watching. I can't believe I just got through that so fast. Thank you for all the questions. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to throw this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and make sure to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!